Welcome to Take It from the Ironwoman. My name is Susanne Müller, your host and the Ironwoman. This podcast is about empowering yourself and others to make real changes in the world. Take It from the Ironwoman. We only have special guests, and today actually we have two guests. We have Janet Groom and Caroline Palmy with me. Janet and we met probably in 2005, I would say, because I hired her. I convinced the manager that we want Janet, and he said she's overqualified. And I said, we want her. She's who we want. That's how I got to know Janet. I looked at her resume and I was like, she's the person we want. Then Janet moved to Switzerland and she met Caroline. In 2017, they organized an event, Body, Mind, and Soul. That's where we all met in Zurich. Here we are again. Now the two of them have, the podcast is Heart and Soul. Caroline, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit, and then we talk what Heart and Soul is.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me, Susanne. It was really lovely seeing you in person, and you just brought your brand new book with you then. I remember that. I live in Switzerland and I'm a heart flow healer. I love helping women to really come back to their hearts, because so many feel like they're not good enough, or they're not worthy, or not brainy enough. If we all could just come back to our heart and feel into how wonderful and amazing we are, the world would be a better place. I love helping women with their self-love issues, and that's the heart of Heart and Soul. And Janet.
Indeed. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you for inviting me as well, Susanne. And I'm the soul. My background in coaching has kind of taken a little bit of a change, a little turn, moving back to the UK, because yes, I used to be in Switzerland as well. Gorgeous place. Here we are back in the UK. It's not been an easy transition, but finally, and I must admit, thank Caroline for helping me to realign with my purpose and find self-love again, that I have then actually sort of given myself time to really consider what do I really feel that I'm here to do. And I wanted to take it into more the spiritual side of things, because I've got life coaching and NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. So it was very much in the mind before, mindset and goals and all of that. But now I want to take it further and talk about the energy systems and how they connect to the soul, and how you can then sort of use your soul for guidance.
I love Heart and Soul, and soul sisters who are meeting here. Now we have the opportunity and the honor to talk. Actually, I was listening into one of your episodes and you were talking about introverts. It's funny that everybody thinks I'm a super extrovert. When I was listening to you, I'm not such an extrovert. I love the time by myself. That's why I'm a runner. I actually love to run by myself without the music. People say, let's go to a party. Lately, I've said, oh my God, I've been to so many parties. I'm a little partied out. It's always the same, blah, blah, blah. If I am invited to a party, it really has to be something special. Am I an introvert?
This depends. The difference from an introvert and an extrovert is how they recharge. An extrovert recharges among people. They just sort of feel great and they need the people to recharge. Introverts or extroverts, they love to be among people, maybe just a shorter amount of time, and they recharge in solitude. You recharge probably through your running, quiet. I think that's another sign for introverts, not too much noise. Like music. In my home, I never listen to music. I love the peace and quiet. And so many people, that's a gorgeous topic, because there's so much misconception around introverts. We are normal human beings. It's just how we recharge. And we love people. We love to go to events or things for me, it's sort of like 2-3 hours, and then I'm just really getting tired and exhausted. And people always feel like, oh, introverts, they're loners, they can't socialize, they whatever else. But introverts are any other normal person. They just need to recharge on their own. They treasure their alone time. Yes, of course, the older we get, the more clearer we see time management. Is it worth going to this party when the people there are not my kind of people? So we rather maybe value ourselves more and go to parties that maybe spiritual people or heart people or soul people, or for you, maybe when you have things in common and you really feel, oh, that will be a great time. Janet has some more insights into introvert.
For me, it was about the masking, and particularly as women, we've learned to do it really well. And that's probably why people then say, oh, but you come across as that you're an extrovert. But we've adapted. The problem is when you're masking, it's draining. It's absolutely exhausting. And that control factor as well, that you want to come across in a certain way. And it's hard work. And it's absolutely, as Caroline says, a couple of hours and you're doing that and you're interacting with people and the energies. And then you kind of go, I reach the stage and probably Caroline, as you get a little bit older, your tolerance levels kind of drop and you go, what, I don't want to be here anymore. Maybe when you're younger, you've more energy that you could keep going a little bit longer. But now, no, if I do it for a period of time, then I have to be like Caroline, go peace and quiet or out in nature is a great way to reboost your energy. Being an introvert is not easy.
I always interpret that actually introverts are or tend to be better leaders because they don't need to have always an audience around them and say, hey, look, I'm the best. What do you think? We all know that when you climb up the corporate ladder, it gets lonely, and introverts might be more kind of like introverts like to be alone and can be alone for a longer period of time. That's my personal interpretation of an introvert and how you actually can, if people think I need to be an extrovert, now when you are climbing the ladder, it's actually helpful.
And it's also the reflection within. It's not always outside there, but you can reflect within and say, okay, how do I feel? How does it make? And you don't always need the people around.
Tell us a little bit more on Heart and Soul. Is it a weekly podcast or what is your vision? I ask, what is your vision? That sounds so business-like.
Well, it was an idea. Caroline and I were chatting and we said, well, I wanted to restart my business and Caroline's doing her business. We thought, wouldn't it be fun to sort of do it together? We just have our chats and we record them in the podcast and we pick a topic. It is on a weekly basis. Caroline does all the work in that she does the recordings for we have it as a podcast, but also as a YouTube show. So you can watch the video as well, which is really great. We pick topics that mean a lot to us that we also think would be of interest to potential audience, listeners, viewers. It's about us having fun as well.
Definitely. Whoa. It's usually on a Tuesday. So it's at 11 Central European time, 10 a.m. UK time. It's really just a friendly chat on regular topics. We don't want it to be too high up, but on like introverts or angels or energy or fear, everyday topics that can reach many people and they can learn so much because we both bring different perspectives to a topic. It's always interesting to hear. I learned so much from Janet and it's inspiring. And yes, we are having fun because we are sharing from our heart and our soul. And we love to connect to the heart and soul of our listeners. And
that's what people need these days. We talk about mental health and everybody's like, if you can reach a person with your personal story, that's more than when you go to a therapist. I hear that people say from my podcast, I always find a golden nugget. I don't know what they find, but everybody takes something different away that they need at that very moment.
And that's our aim as well, to help people. We always share insights, helpful tools, or little nuggets as well. So for everybody to find something to help them along. It's really important in the day now that we are helping each other along our path. And like you said, sometimes the therapist is not the right person. Sometimes it is the way to go, but especially with energy healing or a spiritual life coach, there's another option helping you along. It becomes more valuable as we go and more people need it or need help. With a podcast like yours, Suzanne, or Our Heart and Soul, we can reach people and they can just listen to it in their quiet time. They don't have to be present. They don't have to make an appointment. They can just listen at their own convenience and hopefully get some help and some insights out of this. And it's so important that we share our stories and what we went through, because when I went through my stuff many years ago, or every year you go through new stuff, it's sort of like, I am not alone. That is so helpful. I am not the only one going through this stuff. She did it. She went through that. She survived. Okay, maybe I can too. Just touching the hearts and hopefully helping people connect to their soul, helping them forward. This is tremendously amazing.
You're touching many hearts and souls. And Janet, what's happening in September?
Oh, September. Well, we've got a few visions for Heart and Soul. Obviously, we're continue working on the podcast and the YouTube, but we're also talking about maybe writing a book about heart and soul based on our experiences, our stories, and things that we want to share. Possibly off the back of that, then maybe some courses. And maybe not quite in September, but down the line, we'd love to do a workshop as well. There's lots of things potentially on the horizon for Heart and Soul.
So meeting Janet and Caroline, I'm sure this will be fantastic, as the day was in 2017 with the Body, Mind and Soul, where you brought so many interesting women together. Obviously, we all know it's a lot to organize. And this was before the pandemic. And after the pandemic, it's even harder to get the people together. Actually, Janet, you also wrote a book. Tell us a little bit about the Uplift project.
Oh, the Uplift, that happened, yes, just when the pandemic, when the world was falling apart, or when we were all locked in our homes. Yes, I reached out to my wonderful contacts, my wonderful soul sisters and amazing people who I'd met on my journey. Of course, you two ladies were part of it. And we did this book to share insights, wisdom and artwork and poetry, just different things to put together into a book that we shared into the world. And it did raise some money for charities, but also we wanted to share things that at that time to really help people to get through that, which I hope that it did. I believe it did. I believe that anybody who got a copy of the book really enjoyed reading through, because it was more a book that you could just flick through and then just read a small section or enjoy a poem or read one of the stories. It was a great collaboration to work on together. Thank you for being part of it.
Well, it was fun to do that, but I know the back end was also a lot of work. We all know that we're 3 solo entrepreneurs, how much work it is, and to show up all the time on a weekly basis with all the stuff that's going on. So that's why Heart and Soul is really needed. And for the listeners, please chime in. It's a weekly podcast. You also have the video, and reach out to Caroline and Janet. And I cannot wait for the book. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Always lovely to talk to Janet and Caroline. Heart and Soul. Follow them every Tuesday. They have a new episode, and maybe the book is coming out soon. Take it from the Ironwoman. We have episodes every Monday. Don't miss out. Follow us on all the social media channels and like us and subscribe. And also, Take It from the Ironwoman is the book Global Business Coaching with Sports Parallels. Thank you for your support, and we wish you a lovely day. Bye-bye.